Alright, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I always tell students when talking about internships is I tell them that you're smart for pursuing an internship. Good things happen to students who intern. They learn what they like career-wise, or maybe what they don't like career-wise, which is valuable information. They make professional contacts that could lead to a full-time position when they graduate. They earn money for college, and sometimes a pretty nice wage in an internship. They develop confidence. I mean, good things happen when you intern. So I applaud you for pursuing this, and I think you're really, really smart for looking into an internship. If you look on page 2 of our handout, what I want to cover today is I just want to go over and give you a step-by-step, here's what you need to do to participate in the internship program. Just give you a good overview of our program and our office. I want to talk about some job search skills and highlight some things that you can do to be more proactive in the internship search. Also, I want to explain academic credit and visit a little bit about that. And then lastly, I want to talk about the different levels of involvement, how involved you can be in our office and what you can do with our office. So page 3 just talks about the role of our office. Our program is housed in the Career and Counseling Services office, so just from that name, a lot of what we do. Obviously we help students find jobs, we help with resumes, we help with interviewing, we help with job search strategies. One thing that you may or may not know is that we also develop and try to find internships and full-time jobs for our students. All of our staff does that. We're talking to employers all the time, and as we find jobs, we come back and we post them on our database. We also have a person in our office that is his full-time job to find jobs. Carl Kimsey is our employer relations coordinator, and he is always out talking to employers, and as he finds jobs, he brings them back and he posts them in our database. Another thing that our office does is we assist academic departments with granting internship credit. Some of our internships are eligible for credit. I can't sign you up for an internship course. That all happens through your academic department. And also they're the ones that give you the grade for the internship course. Our role is we help them monitor the internship. We do a lot of the legwork, we do a lot of the paperwork, we help make sure everything runs smoothly, but your faculty in your department are ultimately the ones that sign you up and give you the grade for the internship. And the last thing that we do is we support students. We say, you guys, it's going to be okay, you're going to make it, that type of deal. Alright, page 4, what's a good internship? As you look into internships, you're going to find all different kinds. They come in all shapes and sizes. There's no one-size-fits-all on internships. How do you know what's a good internship and what's not so good? Because quite honestly, some are better than others. Here's the criteria that our office uses, or here's the things that we look for. One, we look for internships where there's supervision. And not that students need to have their hands held. Our students, you guys are talented and can do a lot of things, but there needs to be somebody that can answer your questions. There needs to be some type of mentor. There needs to be some type of training and supervision. If they just want to throw you out to the wolves to let you kind of fend for yourself, may not be the best option. We look for internships where employers will set goals. I have a one-page goal sheet that I'll give employers, and I ask them to set goals with students. And if an employer ever looks at that and says, I really can't do that, I have enough paperwork, I don't have enough time to do that, to me that's a red flag that's saying maybe they're not as interested in the student as they should be. Another thing that we look for is we look for pay, and I'm just guessing here, but I would guess that pay is probably pretty important to you and that you like being paid. I love being paid. And aside from the fact that we need money to live and we like money to buy the things that we want, money holds people more accountable. If I'm an employer and I'm paying a student, I'm going to make sure that that student is doing things that are benefiting my organization. If I'm a student and I'm getting paid, I'm probably going to be a little bit more motivated to stay on task, to do a really, really good job. So we like pay because we think it makes for a better experience. Obviously, you need to do things that are relevant to your major. I mean, the internship needs to be relevant to what you're studying in school. Not to say that you won't make coffee or make copies or answer the phone. You probably will do all of those things, but as long as that's not the majority of the internship, I think that's fine. And the last thing that we look for is we look for internships that are progressive. And what I mean by that is that as you stay longer in the internship, your job duties progress and you get to learn more and more things. We don't want an employer just to take a student, put them in a cubby hole and say, just do this all day and you never get to learn anything else. We want progressive internships. So as you're looking for internships, look for those criteria. If you find an internship and it doesn't have all of those, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad internship, but just the more of those that you can find, probably the greater the probability it's going to be a good experience. All right, page 5, why pursue an internship? And I'm not going to read all this to you, but the main thing that I'll mention to you is, or the main things are, what I see students come away with from internships are self-confidence, usually maturity increases. A lot of times they start doing better in school because they start seeing the concepts applied in the real world and it makes more sense. Professionally, they can meet people, make contacts that could lead to full-time positions. I mean, that's a huge benefit of the internship. And financially, even though you'll never get rich doing an internship, you may make a little better than average, little better than the average college job. Last semester, our interns averaged in between $13 and $14 an hour. That's pretty good. So that's why you might want to pursue an internship. Page 6, why do employers value internships? Again, I'm not going to read that whole page, but the one thing that I'll mention is that employers like internship programs because it's a way to do long-term recruiting. What they do is they get a student, they plug them in, and they watch them. And they see how well they fit with the rest of their employees. They see what their work ethic is like. They see how quickly they catch on to things. And if they like all those things, what they try to do is they try to recruit that person to come on board for them full time. That's the way most employers view internships. If they get a student and they don't feel like they're a good fit for them full time, if they're in an internship, it's easy to end it. They can just say, hey, thanks for participating in our internship. We're ending it at the end of this semester. Good luck. List us on your resume, and they can move on. And it's an easy way to separate. So that's why employers like internships. There's other reasons that they participate, but that's probably the main one. And I think you need to be aware of that. On page 7, the internship program requirements. To participate in our program, you need to be at least a sophomore. You need to have at least a 2.5 to get academic credit. You can't have less than a 2.5 and still participate, but you just won't be eligible for credit. And you need to have a declared major and be currently enrolled. Also, employers may set additional requirements. I mean, I may have an employer that says, hey, I want juniors or seniors, or I want students with a 3.0 or greater GPA, and that's, they can set those additional requirements, but the baseline, bottom requirements that you need to meet are the top 3 bullets on that page. Page 8, what do you need to do to prepare for an internship? And the things that you need to do to start getting ready to get an internship are basically getting your resume together, putting it in our database, getting us a transcript, and then polishing up your interviewing skills. Then we mentioned that on page 8. And so if we want to look at those, on page 9 talks about developing your resume. One of the main things our office does is we help students put together a really, really good resume. And whether you have a resume or you don't, I would encourage you to go through our resume workshop. If you don't have a resume, it's a great tool to get you started. They'll give you examples. They'll give you all kinds of tools and helps to get your resume going. If you already have a resume, I would still go, because if your resume is like mine, I can always stand to put some polish on it. I can always improve my resume. Going to this workshop will give you ideas of making your resume better. And the better you make it, the greater your chance of finding an internship. On this page, the days and times are listed of when we offer our resume workshops. There's also an online version as well too, and there's a hyperlink on that page that you can follow and check out the online version. The second thing you need to do to get ready for an internship or to prepare for an internship is you need to upload your resume into our database. Once you have your resume together, we have a database in our office that students put their resume in, and it allows employers access to their resume. It allows us access so that we can send it to different employers. I mean, it just increases the exposure that you get from employers by your resume being in our database. Also, if you're in our database, you can sign up for on-campus interviews. As you get closer to graduation, you can use that database file to help you find a full-time job as you get closer to graduation. So, and your file stays active up until a year after you graduate. So being in the database is a good thing for you to do, and it helps us to get the word out that you're looking to more